Productivity is threatened by laziness. There is no way we could do anything significant if we were lazy. We might put off accomplishing tasks, or if we do them at all, we might only execute them with mediocrity. That is not how we can deliver results that are up to par. Most people have a common syndrome called laziness. In actuality, though, there is no harm in being indolent and putting off doing the necessary tasks. There are moments when it makes perfect sense. People may not be feeling well. The environment may not be conducive to our needs. Diversions may find their way in, or anything else may occur that causes us to become lazy. However, if they continue to be persistent about it, it becomes a severe problem. In this video, we'll give out some strategies that can help you get rid of laziness. Continue watching. It has frequently been observed that those who fall into this vortex of indolence may find it impossible to emerge. At this point, the sickness begins to interfere with employment, regular tasks, and even meaningful interests. Additionally, it gets harder and harder to put off unfinished work or domestic responsibilities if someone is overly indolent. Furthermore, this syndrome poses serious issues for students in particular. Daily studies add up, and by the time they realize how much work or study they still have to do, it's too late. Being disciplined is the first and most important step. It is the secret to getting over one's indolence. To get the intended results, one must just cease engaging in specific routines or behaviors. Similar to studying, all one needs to do is cease performing activities that will interfere with their ability to concentrate and start making plans and taking actions that will enable them to accomplish their goals. Some of these factors can lead to laziness. Lack of motivation. It is the primary and most typical cause of being lazy. Without the right motivation, nothing in life is ever possible. You simply never stop telling yourself that you are a loser, that you are incapable of doing anything, and many other such things. This is the cause that will continually keep you from progressing in your life. The main reason for being lazy can often be attributed to a lack of motivation, which results in an unwillingness to work. Lack of a clear life goal. This is the second most significant factor contributing to laziness. Practically speaking, it is quite likely that a person would become extremely lethargic if they have no life goals to strive for. Your life's objectives constantly drive you to put in more effort so that you might advance in it. If you don't have any particular objectives, you'll undoubtedly become lazy. Fear of accountability and responsibility. Because they believe they are worthless, most people are always afraid to accept accountability. They just refuse to accept accountability since, should something go wrong, they will also be held accountable. And they simply cannot handle inquiries. For this reason, the majority of people are reluctant to work because they fear that they would be held accountable for the results of the tasks they were given. Bad lifestyle decisions. The majority of individuals lead haphazard, completely reckless lives. They continue to engage in completely pointless activities like texting, watching movies, and social media chatting. The majority of social media users who are engaged will admit that hours go by without them even realizing it. Everyone usually spends a lot of time on social media. It keeps you occupied and hinders you from completing the things that are truly important to you. You will feel that you are unable to complete your assignment if you fall prey to this. Your capacity to complete activities effectively is significantly impacted when your mind isn't given enough rest. Fear of failing. The fear of failing is the main reason why most people are scared to take any action. Laziness may actually be caused by a fear of failing. These people's worry of not losing anything in life makes them unwilling to take the risk. However, we are unable to try something novel if we do not take a chance. To achieve anything in life, we must be willing to try new things and take calculated risks. Depression. Laziness may also stem from depression. People who are in this frame of mind simply want to live by themselves in a dark room and don't want to work. The guy just sits about without feeling motivated to work. They become lethargic because they are dejected and pessimistic. Indecision. Life is all about the choices you make for yourself. Some people simply cannot make up their minds or determine what to do, which might make them lazy. You simply never seem to come to a decision for the day and keep wasting it. The main cause of your idleness is your inability to make decisions in your life. Distraction. You get distracted when you find yourself thinking about other stuff while working. The more sidetracked you become, the less productive you will be at the assigned task. These days, the most frequent sources of distraction include social media, chatty pals, frequent get-togethers, and daydreaming about exciting future events. Exhausting. Any work or activity, even if it is a mental activity, requires energy, enthusiasm, and a clean mind. When we are exhausted, our mind starts functioning in a different way, and we can't work properly in an efficient manner. The other reason may be that sometimes we work too hard and feel exhausted. On the other hand, lazy people exhaust themselves doing unimportant things such as chatting the whole day, partying, and playing video games, hence leaving the important things undone. Procrastination. This is the tendency to consistently put off doing the things that are vital, when they fail to complete the work that has to be done right away. The main cause of laziness is frequently putting off tasks that must be completed. If you can do it now, why wait to do it later, regardless of how critical it is? If you can answer this question, you won't ever put off doing any task. Things get harder when you put things off. Lack of self-value. Lazy people are more lazy and demotivated because they never recognize their own value. If you believe in yourself, you can conquer any task in life. Conversely, people who don't respect themselves are never concerned about personal cleanliness. They wear soiled clothes and live in unclean houses because they are unable to maintain them, and they begin to believe that they are undeserving of better. When an individual is mostly dependent on another individual, when someone is unable to live independently and feels reliant on other people constantly, he is simply too lazy to complete his assignment on his own. You cannot thrive in life if you rely on someone else's support system. You must provide your own. When someone is overburdened with tasks at hand, their mind becomes disoriented and becomes slower. The individual is unable to stop telling himself that he is incapable of doing it. Laziness results when someone believes they are incapable of completing the task at hand, which makes them see no purpose to begin in the first place. The most typical reason people become lazy is this. It can also occur as a result of inadequate sleep, an unhealthy diet, inactivity, and rest. Your body will not have as much energy if you don't eat or sleep enough. This is what's going to make you lazy. It seems logical that you might become lethargic when you're locked into a pattern that is uninteresting. When life becomes monotonous, our brains shut down, depriving us of motivation. Too many options can cause paralysis. When everything is vying for our attention, we become impatient and give up. Overcommitting to tasks at one time is another offense. We become worried and burdened when we are juggling a lot of tasks, which makes us lethargic. And there's the sleep deprivation. Your brain becomes shut down and sluggish when you don't receive enough. Now, let's simply discuss ways of getting rid of laziness. Workout. If you lack the energy to complete your tasks, you may feel lazy. A wonderful approach to boost your energy levels and feel alert and enthusiastic all day is to exercise. Get enough sleep. You might also get lazy if you don't get enough sleep. If you're tired, how can you be excited? Thus, be sure to get enough sleep. Establish a minimum amount of time to begin. Starting will be the hardest part. Everything else will be simpler. Decide to work on the assignment for the entire allotted time, say 5 or 15 minutes, and set a time limit. It would be simpler to decide whether to proceed after that. Develop a sense of urgency. This is one of the most effective techniques to overcome laziness. If you have a sense of urgency, it will be much simpler to get up and do what needs to be done. Setting a deadline might help to establish a sense of urgency. Look at the positives. One reason we get sluggish is that we focus solely on the difficulty of the tasks ahead of us, without considering the advantages of doing them. So, rather than focusing on the obstacles, think about the positives. Plan a reward for yourself. If the rewards are too far in the future, they may not be compelling enough to encourage you to act right now. In such instances, you can provide yourself a more immediate incentive. As a reward for finishing the activities, you may treat yourself to your favorite food or a movie. Consider what happens if you don't do it. While thinking about the benefits can inspire you, considering the consequences of not completing the duties can also motivate you. What happens if you don't do what you're supposed to? Partners might encourage you to overcome laziness. While internal motivation is preferable, we may require external incentive on occasion. Aim to reduce idle time. Make it your goal to reduce idle time. Try to be in a state of doing as much as possible. If you adopt this approach, it will be simpler to overcome laziness. Separate the task into small bits. We may be lazy if we are overwhelmed by the size of the assignment. In such instances, break the task into manageable portions and tackle them one at a time. Remember that eating an elephant involves taking one small mouthful at a time. Determine what the next bodily activity is. We may postpone because we're unsure what to do next. So look at the task and decide what the next physical step will be. It will be easier to get started once you know what you're doing. Focus on one task at a time. It may seem obvious, but we could be lazy because we try to do more than one thing at a time. That makes us feel overwhelmed. So select just one thing at a time, do it, and ignore the rest. Challenge yourself. Make the tasks fun by turning them into a challenge. Can you accomplish those tasks? Many people can, so why can't you? Document your advancement. If you can readily perceive the consequences of indolence, your motivation will increase. Monitoring your development every day is one approach to achieve that. Mark the completion of each assignment. Being lazy will leave you with an empty sheet, which is quite obvious to be terrible. Observe the advancement of others. Understanding how far behind other individuals you are may also serve as motivation. Observe accomplished individuals in your industry and get inspiration from their work. Orient yourself toward what is important to you. Even though the aforementioned advice can be helpful, it will be much simpler to overcome laziness if you pursue an interest. You'll feel a fierce desire to take action that comes from within. Thus, identify a cause that is important to you and make every effort to support it. You need to know your motivation type in order to identify the cause of your lack of motivation. You now understand how to best utilize your motivational style's advantages. You can prevent or lessen the effect of feeling lethargic and unmotivated if you can identify what's causing it. Everyone deserves a relaxing day every now and again, and being lazy isn't necessarily a terrible thing. Changing your approach to specific chores and embracing a healthy lifestyle could be all it takes to overcome laziness. If you set and achieve attainable goals, you can overcome laziness. Setting unrealistic goals and taking on too much might lead to burnout. Job burnout can lead to tiredness, a loss of motivation and interest, and a desire to quit. To avoid becoming overburdened, set more realistic goals that will assist you in achieving your aims without taxing you. When you're preparing for a task or creating goals, pause to consider your talents. To aid in your task completion, attempt to apply them to various facets of the assignment. Studies have indicated that emphasizing one's strengths might boost good emotions, engagement at work, and productivity. Giving yourself a pat on the back for a job well done can inspire you to carry on. Think about recording all of your achievements in everything you do, at work or at home, along the way. It's a fantastic technique to increase your self-assurance and optimism and give you the motivation to go on. Everybody has a go-to diversion that they use when they just don't feel like working on a task. Some examples of these include playing with pets or browsing social media. Look for strategies to reduce the accessibility of your distractions. This can be as simple as installing an app to block websites that you scroll through aimlessly when you should be working, or as complex as locating a quiet workspace, such as a library or an empty room. Jobs that we find dull or uninteresting are typically avoided. Although cleaning the bathroom or gutters won't ever be a lot of fun, you can make them more bearable. To find out how many steps or calories you burn while doing these activities, try using your fitness tracker, listening to music, or putting on a podcast. While finishing a task is a reward in and of itself, some people are motivated by rewards from other sources. Consider the benefits of completing the task at hand, such as approaching a promotion, or treat yourself to something nice for a job well done. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. Thanks for watching.